They have stands on both sides of Veterans Stadium, 15,000. They sold it out 3 days ago. And these two teams are reflecting the dichotomy of their head coaches. Raul Lara, his first season as the head coach, he played at Pauley back in 1984. Over the past 4 years, he was the defensive coordinator for Jerry Jaso, and the team went 54-1-1. Across the way, well, nobody has a better record in high school football than Bob Laudiseur. He's been there since 1979, 252 championships, 4 of those national championships. Bob Laudiseur, there's nobody better in the country. With more on the tradition of Long Beach Poly, let's go down to Frank Martin on the sideline.
That's right, guys. As you can see behind me, the sidelines are packed, the stands are packed, and everyone's excited. And rightly they should be, because not only is it number 1 versus number 2, it's also a collection of 2 of the greatest football programs in high school. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's start with the Salle Spartans. They come in with that streak everyone knows about, but also 9 straight seasons, 4-time national champions, and 19 consecutive league championships. Here's Pauley. They are all a powerhouse as well. 3 of the last 4 CIF Southern Section Division I titles have gone to Pauley. They also have sent more players into the NFL than any other high school in the country, and you see the number of wins by the total program. It's number 2 in California behind Bakersfield. I've asked some of the players before the game, hey, how does this compare to the biggest game you've ever played in? They tell me this is the biggest game they've ever played in. They haven't even played in it. And to give you something more visually, Mel Collins, the co-principal of Long Beach Poly, 4 months ago when this game was scheduled, he found time to put in his calendar what he thought would happen tonight. Will the streak end? Well, it's just about time for kickoff. One team will leave here with another notch in their belt. Who will it be?
116 straight victories for De La Salle. Long Beach Poly is number 2 in the country. De La Salle is number 1. De La Salle won the toss, elected to receive. Long Beach Poly in their home green and gold, and De La Salle in the traveling whites. Jeff Hastings will tee it up and kick it off for Poly, and back deep for De La Salle, Maurice Drew and Damon Jenkins. And let's keep in mind that De La Salle has one of the most dangerous return teams in the country. In fact, Modern Day, a powerhouse in Southern California, when they played them a couple weeks ago, elected to not even kick it deep. That's how potent they are. 15,000 on their feet. We've waited 4 years, and we are underway. This ball goes to Maurice Drew at the 7. Behind a wedge, Drew has a seam. Drew across the 35, dragging tacklers to the 39-yard line. 33 yards on the return for Maurice Drew. Offensively, for De La Salle, the 3-year starter, Matt Gutierrez, 55% and very solid. He usually leaves the game early in the 3rd quarter. That's why the numbers are down. Landry up front is probably one of the best offensive linemen on the West Coast. He is committed to Notre Dame. And in the backfield, Elijah Bradley. He's only 5'8", small but very quick. Averages 12 yards a carry. Gutierrez. And the first handoff goes back to Drew. The guy from the kickoff adds to it across midfield and into Long Beach Poly territory. Defensively for Long Beach Poly, they haven't allowed a point this year. Manuel right up front, one of the best defensive linemen in the nation. He goes 6'7", 315 pounds. The linebacker is always a traditional Poly strength. Pago Tagafau, 19 tackles to lead the way. And a strong and deep group in the secondary. Darnell Bing is the playmaker. Gutierrez will make the read off of him. If he steps into the box, he's going deep. It's a first down. And a reverse. They've been working on this all week long. Damon Jenkins, and Jenkins to the 40, and now all the way down to the 37-yard line.
You're going to see a lot of misdirection tonight. You're going to see a lot of that type of things because De La Salle feels they've got the more disciplined players, and they think if they use that misdirection, they can use Poly's speed to their advantage.
11 yards on the reverse. And it is a first down to the 37-yard line. Michael Weir at practice. I think De La Salle made it quite clear they knew they can't run it Manuel right up front. He's just too big and too good. And so they're going to have to use some misdirection. They go off tackle. And look at them move the scrum forward. And already some pretty good hits. Darnell Bing.
This will be about as physical a high school football game as you're likely to see in your lifetime. You've got 300-pounders from Poly. You've got a team that has made their living running the football. And right there you see a little bit about what De La Salle does. They run a veer option. And the first option is that dive up the middle. And that's what they want to try to establish and then pop it outside.
Bradley is the guy in the backfield for De La Salle. He had 5 yards on that last carry. It's second down at about the 32. And look at Gutierrez, the poise, the confidence, he takes his time. They give to Bradley, he spins, and Bradley near a first down. There's Davis in on the tackle.
You think about the conventional wisdom of De La Salle and trying to attack the heart of that Poly front seven. And it's the dive, it's the most basic of plays, and it sets up everything else that you do when you run a veer offense. When you've got to respect the dive, you're not jumping out on the quarterback, you're not running out there to take the pitch man.
Referee's going to measure to see if it's a first down. You look at the numbers on Elijah Bradley. 12 yards to carry. That ain't bad, is it, Mike?
Well, I mean, when you think about what he has done as a running back, and you think about the push of De La Salle, and that's the first thing you notice when you watch film on that team. There's always push.
Jack Hunsinger, the referee, says first down to Bob Loudeser. Looks like that all the time. It's funny, with a 116-game winning streak, 4 national championships, and Bob Loudeser doesn't even consider himself a football coach. He thinks of himself as a teacher first.
It's interesting. We talked to him yesterday, and I said, how did you get into this thing? How did you get involved with De La Salle? And he said, well, there was an ad in the paper. They want somebody to teach a religion class. And when I got in the interview, I said, hey, can you coach football too?
Apparently he can. Kenyon and Drew are the two guys behind Gutierrez. A little movement on the left side. Kenyon was stopped immediately. There are flags. It should be procedure in our first penalty against De La Salle. Mike, you and I talked in the week leading up to this game, and one of the things that I told you I know about De La Salle is the execution and technically perfect. It is procedure. They don't make mistakes, no turnovers, and this is uncharacteristic to see a penalty this early.
I think when you look at De La Salle, you understand that you've got a lot of repetition, and it's just the pre-game jitters. You feel like you want to get off. You've got something to prove, and that's Derek Landry. He is the big stud for De La Salle. He's the guy that's going to Notre Dame, and he's the guy that everybody's putting the onus on, saying, how can he match up against the big guys from Long Beach Poly?
Yeah, he's considered small at 6'4", 280 on this field tonight. And everyone in the country wanted him, and he said there was no doubt, I'm going to Notre Dame. He's committed, and he'll go both ways tonight on the interior line. So they back up De La Salle, and it's first down at 15. A shovel pass, and it should be incomplete. Manuel Wright covers it up, but I think that's got to be an incomplete pass right at the feet of Maurice Drew. Manuel Wright, well, what can you say about this young man? He is absolutely huge, one of the best defensive linemen in the nation. Speed, strength, and they say he'll improve his reads. 26 tackles and 3 sacks. That's this year. Last year, he had 67 tackles and 11 sacks, and he's all over this one.
Well, and he's a guy that's a smart player. When I looked at him at the field, I thought to myself, I don't remember ever seeing anybody bigger in a college uniform, in a professional uniform. I don't know how big he can get. I don't know how good he can get.
Kenyon is the only guy in the backfield as Drew comes in motion to the near sideline. Wilhelmy, Chris, top of your screen. Normally a big target for Gutierrez, who's going to tuck this one away and drop his head. Now, Mike talked about it at the beginning. Gutierrez does not shy away from contact, and he wasn't looking for the sideline.
Well, you got to be a rough guy. You got to be a guy that's got a leather neck. You got to be willing to take somebody on, and that's what Matt Gutierrez is all about. If you're going to run a veer offense, the best way to be successful is to be a quarterback that is not afraid to take a hit before you pitch the ball. That makes the thing work. And he's also the type of guy that when there's not something there, he's not going to force it. And he's got the option to tuck the ball and take somebody on. You can tell that that is a power forward in basketball.
7th play of the drive now for De La Salle. It's a 3rd down and 8 at the Poly 25. Sends Bradley in motion. Rolls to that side. It's a soft roll, and he comes back to set up the screen to Drew. Drew got a block. Drew has some space. And Drew breaks the tackle. Touchdown, De La Salle. Don't worry about the penalty flag if you're a De La Salle fan. It'll just be too much celebration. The touchdown should stand. The referees will confer, but Mike, missed tackle, and you can't do that against De La Salle.
Absolutely. You cannot make mistakes against them because they play error-free football. sit and watch how this play develops. When somebody is faster than you, when they're more physical than you, you've got to keep them off balance. The best way to do that is let them come up the field and dump that thing off, run some screens, and right there, 2 missed tackles. If you miss tackles, guys are going to be doing somersaults into the end zone and then talking about you when they go home.
Tyrone Jenkins and Pago Tagafau for Long Beach Poly both had shots at Maurice Drew. And what have we seen from this young man already? An electrifying kickoff return. He took a screen and goes 25 yards to make it 6-0 De La Salle. In for the extra point, James Bloomberg, and he is perfect this year, 16 of 16. And a long one, and it's good. Remember, they had to tack on that penalty, and Hastings says, no big deal. I was at practice with him. He can kick it 50 yards. Maurice Drew and the Spartans making a statement. 7-0 De La Salle.
Hi, I'm looking to save money on my car insurance. How do I know if I'm getting a good deal?
You should talk to the specialist.
The specialist?
He compares rates side by side. You could save hundreds. It's easy.
Great.
Okay, Pickles. Do your thing.
Well, that's amazing.
I trained him myself.
I meant the... Okay.
Same coverage, more savings. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
What's your 2:30 feeling like?
Well, it's like my brain just stops working.
Feel fuzzy, groggy.
I can barely keep my eyes open.
So what do you do?
I used to get another coffee.
Yeah, coffee or soda.
Then another coffee.
I switched to 5-hour energy.
Just one 5-hour energy.
The rest of the day, I'm great.
0 sugar, only 4 calories.
I don't feel jittery. I'm in control.
It's me. Just a better, more awake me.
Gotta try 5-hour energy.
5-hour energy. Hours of energy now. No 2:30 feeling later.
They have come 438 miles to party and dance and to maybe defend their #1 ranking. De La Salle, the Spartans, 116 straight victories, taking on #2 Long Beach Poly, and Maurice Drew capping off a beautiful 7-play, 60-yard drive, going 25 yards on a couple of broken tackles on the screen pass, and then vaulting himself into the Poly end zone. Important for De La Salle, I think, not only to move that ball down, but to stuff it in the end zone. That's the first time Poly's been scored on this year.
Well, I think that Poly knew that they were going to be in for a different game than they had last week or the week before that or the week before that. They understand that De La Salle did not get to win 116 games in a row because they weren't a quality football team. And you saw kind of what you expected from Bob Blondesor. The fact that he was going to sit there and look at Poly, figure out how to attack them, and keeping them off balance defensively is going to be the key for them in this football game and enabling them to run the football later on. They may be the ones that want to try to wear down the other team. We'll see if that can happen.
De La Salle set to kick. It'll be Bloomberg again. He's made a long extra point back deep. Kevin Tapp and Derek Jones. And a penalty flag. Gonna be on De La Salle. They'll back him up again. So De La Salle now with their 3rd penalty of the game. 8:22 now to play in the first quarter. 15,000 sold out at Veterans Stadium. Mike, they could have put 20,000 in here if they just brought in extra bleachers.
They could have put 20, they could have put 30, and it's interesting, a lot of people that are used to coming to high school football games coming up and buying a ticket. I heard stories of people driving down thinking they're going to buy a ticket and get turned away. You got to find the nearest restaurant with Fox Sports Net to watch it on the TV.
That's the best seat in the house at home. And look at them, elbow to elbow, wall to wall, railing to railing, and they're standing in the end zone as well. Standing room only tickets are about 4 deep in the end zone to your right. And westernmost end zone here in Long Beach. If you're watching across the country, we're about 7 miles from the Pacific Ocean. And Bloomberg again, and again he's going to pooch it. It comes up short, and the ball is on the ground. That's something that Long Beach Poly has not seen this year. They're able to get back on it. It was Rory Carrington, who should be used to seeing the ball. Offensively, for Long Beach Poly, an absolute amazing group of athletes led by Brandon Brooks, who isn't asked to do that much. You see his 21%. Don't be confused. Last week he was 3 for 3. That's 3 passes for 3 touchdowns. The offensive line is ridiculously big. Experienced and very strong. Winston Justice is 6'7", 300, one of the best in the country in the backfield. We talked about Herschel Dennis. Mercedes Lewis is going to UCLA. He is 6'7", and he plays tight end. And at UCLA, he'll play football and basketball. First down. And the only guy in the backfield is Herschel Dennis. And like De La Salle expected, Pauley throwing on first down to Jones, and he drops it. Michael, 3 weeks ago, Westchester played Pauley to open the season on this field. They ran that exact same play to start the game. Jones made the catch and went 63 yards for a touchdown.
And it's a tough thing to do when there's a little bit of nervous tension. It kind of permeates itself through your body, down your shoulders, through your elbows, and into your fingertips, and it's hard to make that grab. But it doesn't surprise me that Long Beach Pauley is trying to make a statement and going for a kill shot early on.
Mike, I talked to Terry Edson, the De La Salle defensive coordinator, ahead of time, and I asked him about Willie Glasper, the cornerback who's only a sophomore, and I said, if Pauley throws, are you afraid they're coming after the kid? And he said, I'd be more worried if he wasn't even on the field. De La Salle, defensively, much better than last year, and talked about Derek Landry. He's going to Notre Dame, and he goes both ways. The linebackers must make plays on Herschel Dennis. Brendan Atabani replaces Kevin Simon, who's now at Tennessee. Simon replaced DJ Williams, who's now at Miami. The D-backs are the strength of the defense. Did not allow a completed pass last week, beating St. Francis. Damon Jenkins, All-State as a sophomore, and he's blocked a punt, returned it for a touchdown this year. 3rd down and 9 now for Pauley. Brooks to throw, out in the flat, Herschel Dennis. Herschel Dennis pushed out of bounds, short of a first down. Brendan Atabani coming over to knock him across the chalk and force the kick.
And you see some nice help down the field. Again, you're trying to keep people off balance. De La Salle does a good job of sniffing that out. You see some nice blocking downfield, and Herschel Dennis with a little shot ski out of bounds there. Refs let that go. I'm sure they want these guys just to play.
Nate Kenyon, Maurice Drew are back, waiting the punt. Leon Jackson. Jackson is the backup quarterback for Long Beach Pauley, something to keep in mind. Pauley hustling a few guys on late. Pauley looks maybe a little bit rattled, a little bit nervous to start this game. Jackson, a booming punt. Drives him all the way back to the 24-yard line. It's Drew. And Drew to the 29. 38-yard punt. Well, don't miss the new show everybody's been talking about. It's the Best Damn Sports Show, period, featuring a comedian who is a diehard sports fan and a bunch of ex-jocks, sports commentary, and constantly updated scores and highlights. What more could you ask from a TV show? Introducing the Best Damn Sports Show, period, weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30, only on Fox Sports Net. Of course, those updates provided by my good friend Lisa Guerrero.
And I think that's pretty much why everybody's checking it out.
29-yard line for De La Salle. They took 7 plays on their first drive and put it in the end zone. Option, Drew. And Drew is strung out and dropped for a loss. Darnell Bing was in. Marlon Simmons was in. Marlon Simmons, of course, the sophomore, and you know the name. Brothers Melvin and Marvin. Melvin transferred from Washington State, now at USC.
Look at Manuel Wright. He gets out there, he checked the dive, and then he gets out there. When you've got great athletes on defense, when you guys have got a lot of speed, it's hard to get around the end. You get an advantage because you've got a fast running back. The problem is when everybody on the defense is as fast as he is, it's not going to work.
Loss of 1, 2nd down and 11 for De La Salle. Misdirection up the middle, Elijah Bradley to the 37-yard line. A nice pickup. Be 3rd down and short now, give him 8 yards. Let's get down to Frank Martin on the sideline.
Guys, an interesting note, both first-string defenses for each team came in not allowing a touchdown. Well, after Long Beach Pauley gave that touchdown up, I went over to the sideline. Coach Lara talked to the defense. They were in shock, and he told them, and I quote, "I told you guys these guys were good. You saw how fast they are. You didn't see how fast they are on tape. Now you know how fast they are." I think they respect De La Salle a little bit more after that drive.
Yeah, Raul Lara, after earlier this year when Long Beach Pauley played a so-so game against Narbonne, winning that one 28-6, he brought his guys into the film room and he showed De La Salle taking Buchanan apart. Buchanan was a champion from Central California last year, and De La Salle blew them out 56-14. He said, "This is what's waiting for you in 2 weeks. It's time to get serious right now." Now coming up at the half, we'll join Todd Donahoe in the Fox Network Center for a special edition of Fox Sports Net Trivia. be giving away an assortment of UCLA and USC tickets, including tickets to the Crosstown Showdown between the Trojans and the Bruins. That game scheduled for November 17th at the Coliseum. So get ready to call in. If you can answer trivia questions correctly about Southern California high school sports, you'll win the SC and UCLA tickets. Stick around. All that coming up at the half with Todd Donahoe from the Fox Network Center. 116 games De La Salle has won. When you break it down, you can see why. Offensively, they are unstoppable. 48-9, that is the average score. They scored over 50 points 30 times and allowed over 20 just 16 times. The last loss was December 4 against crosstown rival Pittsburgh. Percy McGee, an interception with 87 yards for Pittsburgh, and Reagan Upshaw, a sack on De La Salle to end that game. It's big-time football.
Reagan Upshaw, whatever happened to that guy?
3rd down and 3. Gutierrez, a little flip pass. Was that a lateral? Paulie says it was. They jump on it. Now Jack Hunsinger, the referee, is looking for some help. Of course, he's behind that play, and he's going to call incomplete pass. So it's 4th down. Now it was Nate Kenyon, the intended receiver here, and Gutierrez kind of threw it a little bit low, down towards his knees.
Well, it's interesting when you look at the front 7 of Poly, they're getting sucked in, and I'm thinking if they continue to play that way, they're going to be very susceptible to play action fakes, and Matt Gutierrez going deep.
James Bloomberg to punt, and back deep is Kevin Tapp. Kevin Tapp took a punt last week against Fontana. First time he touched it, went 66 yards for a touchdown. This ball to his left, he takes it on a hop at the 30. He's got a sideline and a penalty. Block in the back, right there in front of the official. Tough angle. And Paulie will be backed up. 36 yards on the punt by Bloomberg. 7-0 De La Salle. They took the opening kickoff, went 7 plays, 60 yards, 3.5 minutes. Maurice Drew, screen pass, 25 yards, and flipped himself into the end zone.
You know, if you're going to clip somebody, you got to kind of keep your eyes open, watch out for the referees, see where they're at. They're not around, they're not looking. Take your shot.
Is that how you played it at SC?
If I couldn't hold, I couldn't survive.
We'll take a timeout. A game for the ages. Number 1, De La Salle. Number 2, Pauly. 7-0 Spartans. Early.
1, 2, 3, go.
Effects has the movies. Effects has the movies. Effects has the movie.
This could be the end of Spider-Man.
You getting that for sure.
Roy. Running forward.
Effects has the movies. 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 Effects has the movies.
Veterans Stadium has become LA's best dance club on this Friday night. Saturday now, isn't it? It's Saturday.
Saturday night, and
it's been a long week for me, Mike.
You think about Friday night lights, but what can be better? A Saturday night here in Vet Stadium. Fans that live for this, the 2 best programs in the United States of America.
De La Salle hasn't lost in 10 years, and Pauly has only 1 loss in their last 60 games and a 31-game unbeaten streak. Brandon Brooks, the quarterback. Brandon Brooks is one of the quiet leaders of this team. He tosses to the guy who makes all the noise, Herschel Dennis. Herschel Dennis, 1 man to beat. He's upended in midfield. Elijah Bradley saved the tackle, and then he got up, and little Elijah Bradley got right up into the grill of Herschel Dennis and said, I'll be here all night long.
Understand something, when you're a great running back, and this has always been my knock on Herschel, he's too fast. He outruns guys. You've got to wait for your blockers there, and that's something that you gain with maturity. You've got to find a way to use those guys. When you think about great backs, they use the cutback. A cutback there might have turned that into a big play, maybe even a touchdown.
30 yards for Dennis on the first time he touches it. The throw out in the flat is complete. Paulie's going to move the chains again.
And a flag late.
Alex Watson, the catch, the junior. Probably the most consistent of their young receivers. And Raul Laura says, let's go. Let's pick up the tempo a little bit. Let's put some pressure on these guys and not allow them to make substitutions.
And Coach Lara's got to be happy about this because he was concerned about how the game started, how his guys were going to react to a team.
Jack Hunsinger says it's a face mask, so tack that onto the end. Watson went 13 yards. Now you can add on more. You know, pick up the ball at the 32-yard line, and they're going to walk it all the way down.
Sorry, Jimmy. You know, there's a psychological game that goes on here. I mean, I don't care how much you psych yourself up. You've got to be thinking at the back of your mind if you're a Pauley player. These guys have won 116 games. Nobody on this team has ever lost a high school football game. And when they come down and score a touchdown, you go, well, there must be something to this streak.
Most of these guys' brothers didn't lose a high school football game either. Brooks under heavy pressure. He's going down. It's Drew. Maurice Drew just blitzing off the corner as the jet end. Untouched. Maurice Drew's having a night already, Mike.
He is. He's done a lot of things, and that's what you expect out of De La Salle players. You expect them to do it on both sides of the football. You expect them to do it on special teams. And when you're a quarterback, you've got to be smart. You've got to be looking. You've got to be watching for corners and safeties because they're sneaky guys. They'll try to sneak in there and sack you, and you saw a case of it right there.
Maurice Drew shaking his head, 8-yard loss. Toss in the backfield. It's Rory Carrington.
You're getting under the cable.
Carrington gets a little time when Herschel Dennis needs a quick breather. Willie Glasper, the sophomore, on the tackle for De La Salle.
You sometimes lose track of Rory Carrington because all you really talk about is Herschel Dennis when you look at this offense. Dennis, obviously the star here, but there's a good line up front, so there can be a multitude of running backs that can come in and contribute. And if you've got production from Rory, Herschel can become a great, great decoy.
Dennis is back in now. No need to fake to him. Brooks is going to the air. Brooks to the left side, intercepted and dropped at the 7-yard line. Jenkins was in the passing lane. They were trying to go to Jones. The ball just a little underthrown.
I think you see there a little bit of nerves as well because when you're a quarterback, you're early in the game, you know what you want to do, and sometimes you don't think it out, and you throw a ball into double coverage. And they say it's better to be lucky than to be good, and if you're going to be lucky because you didn't throw the fade the way you were supposed to, you'll take it, go back to the huddle and say, all right, do better next time.
So it's 4th down, and Long Beach Poly is going to kick a field goal, and that's news because they haven't kicked one all year long. It's a 42-yarder. Jeff Hastings, who didn't even play football last year, came over off the soccer team because one of his old buddies was the kicker last year, Javier Torres. Hastings is perfect on extra points this year. But you can imagine when you're beating teams by 30 and 40 points tonight, and last week 70 points, you might not even know who your field goal kicker is. Now Hastings is going to try to get the Jackrabbits on the board from 42 yards. And that is right through the gut. Pauley cuts the lead to 4, and Hastings all fired up. He says, I like this football thing.
Kicking extra points is a lot of fun, but kicking field goals like that and being the hero on the team is a much better feeling. And what a way to come out, what a game to come out and kick your first field goal in.
And it was big, obviously, for Pauley to come back and get something out of this. Never in doubt. Jeff Hastings driving one home from 42. Oh, that is dead center perfect.
We talk about fundamentals and we talk about special teams, and everybody says De La Salle, a very well-coached football team. But you saw there's some solid fundamentals as well. Nobody getting in, nobody harassing the kicker. Good special teams from Pauley.
And you got to figure for Laura that's important because it's going to settle his guys down a little bit. Now they can break a sweat. They start putting a helmet on somebody and make this a football game.
I think that was important that they did have the opportunity to go down there and score. Because if De La Salle had gone up 7-0, come back, scored again, go up 14-0, then the doubt really creeps into your mind. But right now, I think that you've got Pauley players who say to themselves, okay, we see what it's all about. The mystique's gone a little bit now because that's the way football games turn out for a player. You sit there, you get a sweat, you're thinking to yourself, this is not so bad. I think we're going to be okay. And the longer that Pauley hangs in there, the sooner they're going to forget about the streak and the mystique of De La Salle.
You know, it's interesting. This field, we're at Long Beach City College, Veterans Stadium. This is Long Beach Poly's home stadium, but it feels different. When I talked with Raul Lara, the head coach of Poly, before the game, he said it's strange because there's bleachers on the other side. If you've never been here, normally just the one side holds about 11,000. They borrowed bleachers from the Long Beach Grand Prix folks and brought in an extra 4,000 people on the opposite side. So it does have a different feeling. He said it's almost like it's a different place. Hastings to kick off. They pooch it again. Pauley trying to get on this one on a bounce. And a penalty flag before they even got to kick it. It might have been offsides. That's why De La Salle quit on it. We couldn't hear the whistle all the way up here.
Say this about Coach Lara. He's got guts. He's ready to roll the dice. If you're going to do that, it's the right time to do it. But it takes guts as a head coach, because if you don't succeed, that's when people can point out as something that they can second guess about.
He's a Poly guy. He walked the campus back in the mid-'80s. Of course, he knows all about it. In fact, of the 11 coaches on the Poly sideline, 9 of them are graduates of the school. And they say, you know, you learn it when you're walking around. You learn it when you're playing it. You learn it through your sweat.
I think it says a lot about that program, says a lot about that school, and I think you get a family feeling. I think that when you look at Coach Lara, a guy that played there, there's a certain lineage there, and that was the whole theme to me this whole week, talking to both teams, the bond that there was between players now and the players that came before.
Maurice Drew and Damon Jenkins are back, but you have to wonder if you should even be kicking it to these guys, and they do. Jenkins, an over-the-shoulder catch. They were up at the 15-yard line. Jenkins with a gap. Jenkins across the 30. Caught from behind out at the 32-yard line. Carlos Lara, the coach's little brother, with the tackle. Now tomorrow on Fox Sports Net, don't miss NFL This Morning as they give you a preview and a breakdown of all the games in the NFL. 90 minutes of off-the-wall commentary and football news to get you ready for all the day's NFL action. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show, and it starts early. Get up with us at 7:30 in the morning on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings. First down for De La Salle, squirting up the middle for a gain of about 9. Pago Togafau with the tackle for Pauley. And Maurice Drew has been the featured guy, the marquee name so far tonight.
And I don't think that was the preconceived notion that everybody had coming into this game. You talked to Elijah Bradley thinking he was going to be the gull bait. You know, Bob Ladouceur, he thinks these things out. He tries to fool you. He doesn't just try to beat you up. He doesn't just try to be fundamental. He game plans you as well.
Gutierrez fakes the option, keeps it, give him a yard. Manuel Wright was in. Togafau was also there.
You see now why I say it's so important with the quarterback position. He does everything. It's his decision whether to give that dive or not. It's his decision whether to turn it up or to pitch it. And now it's going to be the referee's decision if he made the right decision and got the first down.
The ball sitting at the 43-yard line, and where the chain was, that would be enough by about a foot. See?
Piece of cake. You've got to be a special guy to run this offense. You've just got to be more than a guy that drops back and stands in the pocket, throws the ball, and signs autographs. You've got to be a guy that's ready to take a shot in the mouth about 15 times from guys that weigh 100 pounds more than you do.
Ryan Edson, DeMonte Fitzgerald, the wideouts, and Fitzgerald very fast. Could be a target. Gutierrez is looking at him, and he's going deep for him. For Fitzgerald off his fingertips. Well, Mike, I was at practice yesterday along with you, and I was standing right about where that ball landed while they were practicing that play. And that guy would just go past you like the wind.
But usually he's running past guys that don't also run like the wind. Nice play fake, and everybody bites on that. But when you're a corner, you've got to make sure that you don't get sucked in on that thing. Your number one responsibility is not to get beat deep.
Kevin Tappa's the guy on the coverage. He's was right there, step for step. This time, Tap will work on Ryan Edson on the top of your screen. As 4 guys are in the pattern now for Gutierrez, and he gives it late to Bradley, and Pauly is not fooled. Well, how good is Pauly against the run? Maurice Murray, first guy through for Pauly. 6'5", 300.
And he's one of those inside guys, and you look at him, he doesn't over pursue. He beats the guy that's supposed to block him, and then he does a nice thing. He wraps up, makes sure he keeps a hold of the running back. A lot of guys come in there, get in the backfield, and then they don't wrap up, they don't finish the tackle. That time you see a guy who knows how to finish it off.
Good containment by Josh Tavanuku. Also on the left end for Pauly, just stayed in his lane. Forced Bradley back up the middle. 3rd down and long, 3rd and 13. Gutierrez, the short drop, goes across the middle. It's Drew. Drew's got the first down, and Drew to the 35-yard line of Long Beach Poly.
Think Maurice Drew's getting tired yet? He's doing it all. He's a one-man gang. He's the guy that they're looking at right now, and we talked about it early in the game. You do things on the chalkboards. You've got this guy. You've got man coverage. He's yours out of the backfield. But you got to make the tackle, and if you try to arm tackle guys, they're going to run past you, and they're going to pick up first downs, and you're going to end up losing a football game.
Coming in, Drew had rushed for just 140 yards on 10 carries and caught just 4 balls. Well, they've been hiding him. And off left side. This time it's Nate Kenyon. Kenyon, the senior, had 19 touchdowns last year. He also plays defense for De La Salle, and that's something we should talk about, Mike, is that De La Salle has somewhere between 6 and 8 guys that will play on both sides of the ball throughout the night, and so fatigue could be a problem later in the game for the Spartans.
Well, it is, especially when you're a running back and you take a beating. You see Kenyon right here, runs downhill a little bit, lets the defenders get there, gets outside, and bang, then there's the swarm. And he gets up a little bit slow after this play, and that's when you start to think about, how is he going to feel in the 4th quarter? Is he going to be beat up? And now he comes out of the game to get a little breather.
Edson and Fitzgerald, the wideouts, both on the right side, bottom of your screen. Bradley and Drew. Counter, Gutierrez fakes and keeps. Rolls and throws late across the middle. Darnell Bing on the coverage, and he was right there on the receiver. Nick Barbero, the tight end. But they're starting to feature a little bit more in this offense at De La Salle.
Talked about Darnell Bing, and he's a guy that will come up and, as they say, put the wood on you. He's a safety that can play linebacker pretty much anywhere. And I think that's in the mind of a lot of receivers. When you make the catch, you're going to have to pay the price. But I'm not saying that these De La Salle receivers are not willing to pay the price. Quite the contrary. I think that they're the type of guys that will take the punishment. But just understand, you're going to get hit if you cross in front of Mr. Bing.
Everybody in the Pac-10 and Fresno State all looking at Darnell Bing. Gutierrez to throw. And he just throws it out in the flat, and there's nobody there. Now, that's an incompleted pass, but Mike, there wasn't a receiver within about 15 yards of that one, and it was obvious that Gutierrez was just getting rid of it.
Well, they're trying to set up something up down the field. They're trying to set up a screen that's going to go back to the inside. Matt Gutierrez does a smart thing there. You see the defensive linemen, they're not biting, they're hanging back, watching the running back. He just gets rid of the thing. That's the difference between an immature quarterback who tries to press things and make it happen, and a guy that understands every play is not the last play. It's better not to press the envelope and make a mistake.
So Gutierrez now, and the Spartans faced with a 4th and 4. And with the ball at the 29-yard line, they'll go. Bloomberg has the leg from here, but they'll go. Gutierrez to throw again, and he's going down the left side. He's got Drew. Touchdown.
When you're covering somebody and you think you've got them and you think you pick them up, you get that kind of sense like, I'm okay, unless it's somebody like Drew. And Drew puts on that burst of speed, soft hands, and Gutierrez puts it right there.
The extra point is good just inside the upright to make it 14-3 De La Salle. And we have been talking about Maurice Drew since we put the ball on the tee. Maurice Drew came out of the backfield. They fake soft to him, and then Gutierrez goes right back on the angle. Chris Davis gave him too much space. Perfect throw, great catch. Second touchdown of the night for Maurice Drew.
Chris Davis did the right thing. He makes Gutierrez throw a fade over him, but you know the thing is, when it's a perfect pass, it makes it easy, and then it's a touchdown for De La Salle. You're starting to understand what this team is about. 4th and 4, we'll go for it. Yeah, we'll go for it. We'll put it in the end zone.
Maurice Drew coming in had 4 catches for 83 yards. That's 4 for 83 on the season. And so far, in the first quarter, he's got 3 for 79. Just wonder how much gas he's got in the tank. He's doing everything right now.
I'll tell you, if I was that guy, I'd be stacking creatine shakes, power bars, whatever it took. And if I was his coach, I'd be rubbing his feet at halftime because the guy has just put on a spectacular display, and he's not the guy that you expected to do. It's a great testament to the athletes at De La Salle. The fact that guys can pick it up and become a star when they have to.
You know, it's funny about De La Salle. They're just not a factory that sends guys into Division I football.
Right.
Of course, right now you have DJ Williams at Miami. You have Atari Callan at Cal. You have Demetrius Williams at the University of Oregon. So, yeah, they put their guys out. Amani Toomer, of course, plays in the NFL with the New York Giants. Guys, of course, have come off that campus. But it's more the exception than the rule, and that reflects back on the coaching staff and the entire program.
Well, I don't think that anybody has any notion that it is anything but the coaching staff. Sure, they get guys, and I think that more than anything else, they develop those guys. They teach them how to be complete football players, because I think that's what you think of when you think of the players from De La Salle. They're complete in their game.
Tapp and Jones are back. They're going to squib this one out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Now in high school football, you have the option of taking this ball to 35 or kicking it again. De La Salle, no surprise that they're this good. In fact, Long Beach Poly's Raul Lara, he knew how good the Spartans were coming in even before they got here.
Coach Lara is a guy that you got to have some empathy for, because, you know, let's not lose track. This is the 4th game that he has ever coached as a head coach. And it's the biggest game, perhaps, in high school football, if not the last 10 years, perhaps ever. A lot of people are saying it's the biggest high school game ever because it's the first time you've had a national number 1 and a national number 2.
20 seconds to play in the first quarter. De La Salle, we saw them at practice, Mike. They're not that physically impressive. They streamed out on their practice field over at St. John Bosco and in Bellflower. Not a lot of rah-rah, not a lot of head slapping, just going about their business, certainly having a good time, a little swagger and business-like.
Yeah, but they got a kicker that wears number 70. If you don't love that, there's something wrong with you.
I was kicking with Bloomberg the other day. This kid's got a boot. He's going to kick this one on the ground. It takes a bounce. Scooped up short. Took a foul. He's not used to seeing the football. 45-yard line. Raul Lara, first year as the head coach at Long Beach Poly, and maybe the biggest game of his career.
This team that we're playing against is very, very good. I was telling Coach Jaso the other night that I never seen a team so fundamentally sound. It's so ridiculous. They fire off the ball real good. They stay low. They drive block. They stay on their blocks. And we're a little worried about that. We're hoping that, you know, our guys stay low too, and we can maintain the line of scrimmage.
A little worried about it. I think you can understand now that you've seen them. Here's Herschel Dennis. Dennis fakes inside, tries to bounce it to the corner, and he can't get there. Now, one of the things De La Salle and Terry Edson, the defense coordinator, wanted to find out is how fast Herschel Dennis is to the sideline.
Well, he is fast to the sideline, but see, the danger of the sideline is that it's never missed a tackle. So when you sit there, and it used to be you try to keep your outside arm free and turn everybody back, but a lot of coaches now are trying to bounce you out because they know you're not going to get away from that sideline.
De La Salle, number 1 in the country, leading Long Beach Poly 14-3 after one quarter at a sold-out vet in Long Beach.
With months of job losses, with family incomes down, and the cost of gas, groceries, and healthcare rising, America's credit card debt is now at an all-time high.
If you're currently one of the millions of Americans who's falling behind on payments, debt settlement programs provide options during these most difficult times. This includes the ability to help settle up to 40% or more of your debt.
These consumers took advantage of debt settlement, and just look at the results. Lyons, New York reduced debt by $24,000. Inglewood, California reduced debt by $78,000. Call now for free information on all of your options. Options that could reduce your debt by as much as 40% and lower your payment to as little as $167 per month.
Debt settlement representatives are standing by to take your call and help you get your life back on track. This includes the ability to help settle the debt you owe by 40% or more, and the ability to lower your overall payment to only $167 a month. Make that call now.
Introducing Fox Soccer Plus. Together with FSC, Fox Soccer Plus completes the global sports fan television experience, featuring HD action from Barclays Premier League, UEFA Champions League, and Italy's Serie A. Plus, the world's best rugby from the Guinness Premiership, Heineken Cup, Magners League, and more. Get Fox Soccer Plus today. Log on to foxsoccerplus.com or call 1-877-810-KICK.
De La Salle travels well, 438 miles from campus, and the kids are all here in Long Beach. Well, the last time Long Beach Poly lost was December 12, 1998. You remember, against Modern Day at Edison Field. And number 6 on both sides of the ball, Matt Grudegood. Absolutely unbelievable. The greatest high school performance I've seen in 15 years. Grudegood out of the backfield, scored a couple of touchdowns, but defensively, he was the stopper, and Modern Day beat Poly 33-26. Brandon Brooks wasn't even on campus then. He is now. And Poly needs something to happen, so they give it to Herschel Dennis. Dennis spins, a big gainer. That's a first down. Inside the 45 to the 42-yard line, Andy Briner, the tackle for De La Salle.
Yeah, that's just a game where you've got your big guys going against their big guys, and then you've got the running back du jour, and it's Herschel Dennis, and he does good things. Doesn't try to get outside that time, cuts it back, and I think that's the right tack for him to take in this game. Don't try to get outside on these guys. They're too fast. Cut back, use their speed against them.
Mike, a name we haven't thrown out yet is Mercedes Lewis, the 6'7" tight end for Long Beach Poly. He's got just 8 passes this year, but a tremendous target for Brandon Brooks. Carrington gets the toss this time. Carrington immediately turns it upfield on a soft corner inside the 30-yard line. Damon Jenkins running him out of bounds.
That's a nice call by the Poly staff because the linebackers are coming up. They're trying to make the play. We talk about those guys getting sucked up in there. Well, when they get sucked up and you get the ball outside, you're going to make a nice gainer. There's no linebackers to be out there, and it's a corner who's getting blocked who has to make the tackle.
Rory Carrington, a nice stiff arm around the corner, 5'11", 195 senior. Alex Watson and Derek Jones, receivers to the left side. Carrington is in as a flanker. Brooks. And he wants Mercedes Lewis, and overthrew him by 5 yards. He was well covered.
That ball has just got to get somewhere near Mercedes, because if it does, you've got obviously a physical advantage there. But you sit there and you look at the defense of De La Salle. They do everything that they're supposed to do. That time they're in zone coverage. Everybody drops out, and they didn't just fall into their little zone. They saw where the ball was going, picked up their guy, and went over there and defended. Nice job defensively for the Spartans of De La Salle.
Now, Brandon Brooks was trying to go to one of his advantages. Mercedes Lewis, who is 6'7", tallest guy on the field. He was being covered by Maurice Drew, who's just 5'7". Yeah, that's an advantage, a foot. Brooks tosses, it's Dennis. Dennis cut it inside. Dennis able to make something out of it. There was space to the outside. Brendan Ottoboni able to get a body on Dennis and make the tackle.
Something you'll notice with the push of Poly High, they're not able to take guys downfield. Okay? They've got to use their speed. They've got to push them from side to side, and that's going to make it tougher for a running back. He's going to have to pay for every yard. He's going to get hit 2 or 3 times, but you see the vision, and I think that's really what Herschel Dennis does the best. He's got great vision on the field. I think he sees probably 7 or 8 defenders when he runs with the football.
Long Beach Poly huge up front. Winston Justice is 300. A couple other guys go 280, 270. And so you keep the ball on the ground. Dennis on 3rd down and 4, and he will be short. It's going to be 4th down. Well, I think Paulie's got to go here, Michael. They can't afford to continue to trade touchdowns for field goals, obviously.
Yeah, but the dilemma is if you don't make it and you come up with nothing and you're thinking going in and, you know, I'm that much further down. You've got a field goal kicker who has made it. But the other thing that you think about, I've got big guys up front. I want to make a statement to them if I'm Raul Laura. I'm going to depend on you guys. I believe in you guys.
You got Herschel Dennis in the backfield, and you got 300-pounders up front. You need a yard, so you go to your quarterback. Brandon Brooks, first down to the 15-yard line. Now, that's a great call. They just used Dennis as a decoy.
And I think that's the right thing to do. I'm not going to use him as a decoy very often because he's one of the most talented running backs that I've seen in a long time, and especially a high school guy. He's going to be a guy that can play in college, but you've got the big guys up front. They just get that push, and most quarterbacks like to jump up here and expose themselves. That was not the case there. Brandon Brooks gets down and gets the first.
Good block by Jonathan Johnson, the other tight end for Long Beach Poly. And we mentioned Mercedes Lewis is 6'7". The other tight end, Jonathan Johnson, is 6'6". That's pretty nice for a quarterback to throw to. Timeout on the field, 9.5 minutes to play in the first half. De La Salle by 11.
1, 2, 3, go. FX has the movies. FX has the movies. FX has the movie.
This could be the end of Spider-Man.
I'm getting that for show.
What?
Running forward.
FX has the movies. 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 FX has the movies.
Fox Movie Channel presents Saturday Night Triple Play. Movies from 20th Century Fox 3 times in a row.
Ain't it cool?
Every Saturday night.
It'll catch on like wildfire. You promise?
Uncut.
Wow, I'm impressed. This is it, right?
Commercial free.
Holy jumble. You're out of your mind. Big time.
3 times in a row.
I will meet you there. I like that.
To the Batcave.
And I'll be there.
Saturday Night Triple Play. Every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Only on Fox Movie Channel.
A sold-out crowd of over 15,000 at the Vet. Number 1, De La Salle leading number 2, Long Beach Poly 14-3. Now let's check in with this week's Scholar Athletes presented by BP, ARCO, and AMPM. This week BP honors James Bloomberg, the kicker from De La Salle, and Kay Saul from Long Beach Poly. Thanks again to BP, which is the ARCO and AMPM brands on the West Coast. Right now, let's get down to Frank Martin, who's with one of our Scholar Athletes.
Thank you very much, Jim. Yes, I'm with Kay Saul right here. And Kay, not only is she a great academically, but she's also great athletically. Where are you going to play soccer next year when you go to college?
I haven't really decided on a college. I'm still looking. Mostly small schools back east, though.
And you spent 3 weeks in Cuernavaca, Mexico, studying Spanish and whatnot. Is that something you want to continue also?
Yeah, I love Spanish. It's my favorite subject. Probably do something with international relations. So,
Thank you very much. Good luck with that. We're going to go back upstairs to you guys.
International relations, obviously a topic a lot of young kids are thinking about these days. Now tonight, everybody's thinking about high school football. Look at the throng circling Veterans Stadium. A first down for Long Beach Poly at the 15-yard line of De La Salle. The top 2 high school football teams in the United States. Inside handoff, Carrington. Maybe a yard just inside the 15.
If you're a team that's going to run the football, you've got to be willing to pound a little bit, and you've got to be willing to punt once in a while. Absolutely every down is not going to be a big play. You've got to pound, and soften them up a little bit, because then in the fourth quarter, there's big holes instead of little holes.
Mercedes Lewis is split out wide. Sometimes they do this. He has a foot advantage on the cornerback, and they're going to throw to the big tight end. He makes the catch at the 10-yard line. Mercedes Lewis driving to the 5. And that should be enough for a Poly first down.
Television just does not do justice to the size of these guys. And when you look at Mercedes Lewis, he's so much bigger, but he's not just big. He's an athlete. He's a football player. and he understands he's got to get the first down there. He's got to drive. 6'7", 255, a junior. I mean, how many guys in college are running around at tight end that are 6'7", 255?
And he is actually a senior. And he's committed to UCLA. It was funny, I was on campus a couple of weeks ago. I was talking with Bob Toledo, the football coach at UCLA. Steve Lavin, the basketball coach, walked by. I brought up Mercedes Lewis's name, and they both just stared at each other. They both want him. He's going on a football scholarship. First down at the 5. Pauly trying to get one in the end zone. Dennis reaches for the cone. It's knocked away. Out of bounds around the 2-yard line.
I think you're starting to get the feel of Pauly and what they do offensively, and it's kind of a throwback when you think of this offense. You got a bunch of big guys up front, big guys getting a push, and then you're going to pound at them with your guy. And Herschel Dennis is the man, make no mistake about it, and he's the guy that is going to get the win for Pauly if they're going to do it. They're going to have to ride his back. They're going to have to run the football. He's going to have to explode in the fourth quarter.
They found Herschel Dennis as the scout team running back when he was a freshman on the JV level, and they said, who's this guy? Now they know. 32 touchdowns last year, 7 this year. Brooks loses his footing, drives towards the goal line, going to come up about a foot short, and it's going to be 3rd down and goal.
When you see that push, you know who they're going to go behind. They're going to go behind Winston Justice. He's another guy that's 6'7", but he weighs a little more than 255. He's a 300-pound guy. I talked to him this week, and I'm just looking at him, and I said, how old are you? And he said, well, I just had my 17th birthday a couple of weeks ago. This guy was 16 years old. Tremendous athlete, great skills, good offensive lineman. That guy's going to play a lot in college.
3rd and goal. It's Brooks again. And Brooks pounded, stood straight up, and he's in. Touchdown, Long Beach Pauly. John Williams, the fullback, Mike, right up behind Brandon Brooks and just helped pushing him across the line. And one of the Jackrabbits is still down. Let's see if he can pick up a number. After they unpiled everybody. And all of a sudden, the Long Beach Poly fans get real quiet. It's Brandon Brooks, the quarterback, and they're working on his right leg.
Great push up front. Brandon Brooks, I talked about earlier, he knows how to get his head down and get in there because that's a mistake that most quarterbacks make. They go up high and try to jump over. Brandon Brooks does a good job, but the bad part about going into those piles, it's a tangle, it's a mess, and when there's 300-pound bodies flying around, it's not hard to get hurt.
Well, let's see if we can pick it up. Brooks, as he tries to stagger back to his feet, and he looks like he might be okay. Watch this, he goes left side. Williams pushing him from behind. He gets stood up right here and bent sideways.
Does that give you the heebie-jeebies like it gives it to me?
Yeah, and you can see he wants people off him quickly. Walking on his own to the bench, a great sign. No matter what side that you're rooting for tonight, the last thing anybody wants to see are people going down with injuries. Beautiful drive in the meantime. That is the backup quarterback right there. That's Leon Jackson, who is the punter right now, and he is holding on extra points, so we'll keep an eye on Brandon Brooks. Jeff Hastings now trying to cut it to a 4-point advantage. Hastings, and that was well laid. Bad timing, the ball's on the ground. And De La Salle stuffs it, and it's 14-9. Landry looks pretty good in pads, doesn't he?
He just looks like a football player. Notre Dame guy, I mean, he's got his future ahead of him. Talk about a nice feeder system. You know, there was another guy that came from De La Salle, played pretty good offensive line, Aaron Taylor. So there's a legacy going on there. It's a bad snap up high. And then you've got the special teams of De La Salle. They know what to do. They go to that ball, they take the right angle, and it ends up being a big missed extra point.
And you say big, Mike, and how many times you and I have been around games at all levels. Missed extra point doesn't seem like much now. Let's talk about it in 2 hours.
Yeah, let's talk about it in 2 hours. And, you know, coaches sometimes make the mistake of trying to make up that extra point all the time. They start going for 2, and then they don't get the 2, and they lose another point. So, I mean, it's important not to worry about it, not to panic. until the end of the game. Then you can start doing some things, because it can be a momentum killer when you start going for 2 to make up that extra point and you don't get it.
Yeah, I'd agree. A lot of coaches, when I see them go for 2 in the first half of games, I just say, what are you thinking?
Right.
You get what you can now, you worry about it later. You may not need it.
Then again, you may.
12 plays, 55 yards for Raul Lara. It's funny, he has been on campus a long time. He's the defensive coordinator for Jerry Jaso, but the head coach, his 4th game with the clipboard, and he's playing the #1 team in the country on what amounts to national television and 15,000.
But he seemed awfully composed this week. I think that he has an understanding of what's going on. He's been a defensive coordinator, understood the pressure of what's going on, but how do you prepare for this?
Loose ball, chance for Pauly. And they couldn't get to it. De La Salle able to hold on. Let's go down to Frank Martin on the sideline.
Just getting situated down here, Jim, with Kevin Simon, the man who basically replaced DJ Williams at Concord De La Salle. Now he's on to Tennessee. How are things going over there for the Volunteers? I noticed Fulmer let you go for tonight, huh?
Yeah. He wasn't really tripping too much. He knew that this meant a lot to me to be here and see my boys carry on the tradition and hopefully get #1, 17.
You told me you wish you were out here tonight, right?
Man, I wish I was out here tonight, but they're handling it on their own. They're doing a really good job against this Poly team. I think we're going to get the job done.
We'll see for the rest of the night, guys.
Kevin Simon now at Tennessee, and a tough loss for the Vols today. As De La Salle keeps it between the tackles, out to the 45-yard line. There's Nate Kenyon. Georgia came back to beat Tennessee late. And, it was funny. I was sitting around the house today, Mike, doing the notes, and I'm looking. Casey Clausen playing quarterback for Tennessee.
Right.
He's an alumni of Fox Sports. His little brother Rick Clausen is a quarterback at LSU. Brandon Hance is playing quarterback for Purdue today. David Priestley is the quarterback at Pittsburgh. Kurt Vollers is an offensive lineman at Notre Dame. Carson Palmer and Kareem Kelly, of course, at USC. And Willie Hurst, a running back at Washington, all got their starts in Southern California playing high school football on Fox Sports Net 2.
About Chris Ricks.
And Chris Ricks, the quarterback at Florida State. Meantime, it's Elijah Bradley. Maybe someday he'll be a Division I star. Right now he's a high school star.
You're seeing some things here defensively. There are not those many in the box. At one time there was 6 in the box, maybe 7 in the box for Pauly, because I think the coaches feel they've got a physical advantage. Conversely, on the other side, you've got Landry, and that's a nice block. Get down the field, get the guy. You don't have to pancake somebody every single time. Nice block. Get down the field, get the guy. You don't have to pancake somebody every single time. Just get in front of them, screen them off, occupy their time, because if they're occupied with you, they're not making a tackle.
Bradley now picks up 9 on that one. He's got 5 carries for 24 yards for De La Salle. Gutierrez to throw. In the flat to Edson. Edson makes a catch. The defender fell down, and then Edson lost his footing all the way down to the 30-yard line. Tyrone Jenkins on the coverage, and he slipped as Edson made the cut to the outside, 16 yards.
When I watched the beginning of the game, I watched warm-ups, and you just look at the footwork. It's always precise. Matt Gutierrez does the right thing. The linemen do the right thing. And then when receivers make the catch, you see Edson there, makes the catch, turns it up, tucks the ball away, and picks up some yards after catch.
Ball resting right at the 30-yard line. Matt Gutierrez and the De La Salle Spartans, 116 straight victories. 1991, the last time they were beaten by Pittsburgh High School. They'll play Pittsburgh next week. And a flag before we even snap the ball, and this obviously going to go against De La Salle.
A little conversation there.
Oh, hold on, did one of the Pauly guys line up in the neutral? It is encroachment. Josh Tavanuu, encroachment for Pauly. That was strange. De La Salle hadn't even got into their set position. Well, don't forget, coming up the half, we join Todd Donahoe in the Fox Network Center, special edition of Fox Sports Net Trivia, give away assortment of SC and UCLA tickets. That's coming up at the half. So now it's first down at 5. Here's Gutierrez. He's turned inside, short gain, give him 2.5. Paul LaPouli on the tackle on the corner.
You see what we talk about when you've got a quarterback who's an option quarterback. Fakes the give, looks, nobody's there, turns it up and doesn't fake it. But you also see Pauley defenders who do a good job of fighting off the blocks. You can get to them and start the block, and there's no crime in getting blocked, just don't stay blocked. Get off and make the play.
2nd and 2 now for the Spartans. Bradley, he stumbles right at the 20-yard line. Be close to a first down, maybe just a bit short. Manuel Wright was the guy who tripped him up.
Manuel Wright with a big matchup against Eric Sandy. That's going to be a battle that goes on all night, but Manuel Wright doing what we talked about, using those hands, keeping his feet going, fighting off the blocks, and tripping up the running back at the point of attack.
Yeah, LaSalle fans showering a few boos onto the field. They thought they got a bad mark, a left-footed mark. It's 3rd down and short. Manuel Wright, all the boys up front, trying to stop Gutierrez, not going to do it. 6'4", 210, and he just powers forward. First down, De La Salle.
And you see Manuel Wright right here, and then you see Sandy right there, and Manuel's down here on his back because he makes a tackle. You know, keep your feet moving as an offensive lineman. You'll put a guy down there, and you'll get the first down.
Let's go down to Frank Martin.
Guys, an injury update on quarterback Brandon Books of Long Beach Poly. The update is there is no injury. He just came down on the touchdown on his knee a little too hard, and basically, as I was told, it just hurt a real lot.
We'll have to find out if Brandon Brooks comes back in. It's first down for De La Salle at the 17. Option again, Gutierrez gives to the man, throws Drew, and Drew's in the end zone for the 3rd time tonight. Touchdown, De La Salle.
We talked about the push of the line. You're going to see everybody here combo blocks up front, and then you've got a running back who's got that good forward lean, and when you stay low, you keep your head over your knees and you keep your feet pumping, good things happen. And I tell you what, they can't get much better than they've gotten from Maurice Drew tonight.
Maurice Drew came in with just 1 touchdown this year. He's got 3 in the first half of the biggest game of his life. And the extra point by James Bloomberg is good. 21-9. De La Salle over Long Beach Poly. As Maurice Drew takes the handoff, runs through Darnell Bing, and high steps into the zone.
Tired of all that chopping and slicing? It's such hard work and takes forever.
Well, now there's a faster, better way with Slice-O-Matic. It lets you slice, slice, slice your prep time in half. Watch. Just tap the Easy Glide handle and rock-solid potatoes are sliced with ease. Great for scalloped potatoes. Tap again and slice an entire onion in seconds. No odors, no tears. Adjust the dial and you've got uniform slices of fruits and vegetables, thick or thin. But it's not just for slicing. Add the deluxe julienne blade and chop mountains of carrots, celery, and parsnips. Great for soups and stews. Even zip through a veggie medley to make a tasty stir fry in no time. Slice-O-Matic is as easy to use as a toaster. The magic, as you tap down, a 30-point gear system propels the precision cutting blade directly through your food and retracts automatically, making Slice-O-Matic do all the work for you. Perfect for those with arthritis or joint pain. It's so fast and easy you can slice a whole bag of potatoes in minutes, even with a blindfold on. Cutting the old way can be dangerous. With Slice-O-Matic, your hands never touch the blade, and the handy catch container keeps your countertops sparkling clean. Other kitchen slicers sell for double the price, and they don't even include the catch container. But order right now, and you'll pay just $19.99. Call now and find out about free shipping. If Slice-O-Matic ever gets dull or damaged, we'll replace it. It's the slice that's good for life. But I'm still not done. Call or click right this minute and get a complete bonus second set. Just pay separate processing. We'll also send you a surprise gift, a $20 value. Yours today is a special bonus. You get 2 complete Slice-O-Matics, 2 recipe books, the surprise gift, and our amazing guarantee, all for just $19.99. Remember, call now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-785-3417. Hurry, we're giving away a bonus Slice-O-Matic with all of today's orders. Call 1-800-785-3417 and find out about free shipping. That's 1-800-785-3417. Call now.
It's the high school game of the week on Fox Sports Net. Jim Watson along with Mike Lamb and Frank Martin working the sideline. De La Salle, the #1 team in the United States, haven't lost in a decade, 116 straight victories, and we're starting to understand why. They go 7 plays, 63 yards, and Drew scores for the 3rd time tonight against a defense that hadn't allowed a single point this year coming in. Very special group, De La Salle, led by that young man right there, Maurice Drew. He may not look like much on the sideline, but between the lines, he's special. He's found the end zone 3 times, numerous different ways. And it's funny how De La Salle has managed to feature him, and Long Beach Poly just can't seem to find him. At least they can't wrap him up.
Well, in conversations, I don't think the name Maurice Drew came up all week long. It's not what they were anticipating, but it's more than the fundamentals for De La Salle. And that's what you think of when you watch him on film, but when you see him in person, when you see him in a game situation, I think it's the composure that strikes you more than anything else, how composed they are and how they find ways to get it done. And there's a lot of pressure when you're talking about streaks. And they don't like to talk about it, but believe me, they feel the gravity of the streak. They understand the responsibility and the gravity of what's gone on before them.
Kevin Tapp and Derek Jones are back. This is Kevin Tapp, goes right through his hands and into the end zone. And that's going to be a touchback. High school football, you can't run it out of the end zone, so as soon as the ball goes across that end line, it's dead. Maurice Drew, we didn't know much about him coming in. The De La Salle folks were pretty tight-lipped. Long Beach Poly didn't know about 21. They'll never forget him now. Early on, they were featuring him. Gutierrez, a beautiful 29-yard scoring strike. On defense, an 8-yard loss as he wraps up Brandon Brooks. And then he caps off that last drive, 9 yards out, running through a couple of tackles and into the zone again. 3 touchdowns for number 21, and he has matched his number on the scoreboard tonight.
He's definitely earning his paycheck, which is 0.
Over 110 yards total offense. This is Carrington. Carrington knocked out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. Big hit by Maurice Drew.
When you're a high school football player, you know, every once in a while there's that one big hit that you hear every, I don't know, 5 or 6 games, and everybody goes, woo. This is more like a college game when you go down the field and it's like everywhere there's that big hit. And, you know, you've got a running back here in Roy that's thinking about, I'm always running well. And he gets to the sideline and thinks, I'll just nonchalant it out here, and whack, right there. 2 guys putting the wood on it.
And Willie Glasper was the other guy, number 31, the sophomore, coming up. Big gain, though, and a first down for Pauly at the 30. Play action, and Brooks is back in there, and he has time, and he's got a little space. And Brooks trying to set up a block to the 33-yard line. Nick Barbero with the tackle for the Spartans of De La Salle. Lead 21-9. We're under 4 minutes to play in the first half. And Mike, I think it might be early to use a word like critical, but I think Long Beach Poly's got to put something on the board before the break.
Well, they would like to do that, but I think more importantly, they can't have anything bad happen. And if something bad happens to them right now, then they're going to have that psychological defeat that they're thinking, man, we're going in at halftime, we're seeing De La Salle, they're wearing us out. So I don't think you want to press your situation too much here. If something good happens, fine.
4 guys in the pattern. Herschel Dennis, 7 yards behind the quarterback. Brooks throws it out in the flat to Herschel Dennis, one-on-one. Dennis turns it inside. He's tackled at the 37-yard line. That is short of a first down. Derek Landry, Nate Kenyon on the tackle for De La Salle.
And I think that needs to be a continuing theme for Long Beach Poly. They've got to take guys like Herschel Dennis and get him out in the flat one-on-one. They've got to get guys like Mercedes Lewis and find ways that he can get a matchup one-on-one. And look who gets out there and makes a tackle there. Derek Landry is the big guy, number 77. He pass rushed, kept his motor going, went out and made the play out in the flat.
3rd down and 3 now for Pauly. And nobody in the backfield. Herschel Dennis is flanked off to the left side. Brooks is going to throw. He wants Dennis. He's got him. Dennis, good catch. Had his turn behind him. Made the catch right at midfield. First down, Jackrabbits.
So you got to go with your big-time guys here. You know, when it's 3rd down and you've got to make the play, you don't have any margin for error, you've got to go to Herschel Dennis. And Herschel Dennis is the kind of guy that has good hands. He can do more than run with a football. And obviously those are skills that are going to serve him very, very well at the next level.
Herschel Dennis, 16 yards on that catch, and the first guy that congratulated him was the guy who made the big block to free him. That was Mercedes Lewis. Brandon Brooks, and he looks 100%. First down at the 47. De La Salle, the toss to Rory Carrington. Carrington, the corner, stays in bounds. Carrington still in bounds. Another first down for Long Beach Poly.
Jim, you talked earlier about Long Beach Poly trying to make something happen. Now that you're in De La Salle territory, you can get a little more aggressive. You can be like Carrington. Here he's aggressive when he runs with the football. He doesn't come down with the first hit. He's taking on guys trying to get that extra yardage because he has the same sense of urgency that you were talking about, trying to make something positive happen for Poly before halftime.
Carrington stepped out of bounds at the 38-yard line, which is short of a first down. So it's going to be 2nd down and 1, but maybe an opportunity now for Long Beach Poly to put the ball in the air and take a chance. Not necessarily deep, but I might throw something across the middle, either to Lewis or Johnson, my 2 big tight ends. Got to get them involved.
I definitely think so, because Mercedes Lewis is the type of guy, if he gets it one-on-one, he can take that ball, make somebody miss, and get in the end zone.
Now tomorrow, the NFL on Fox has a doubleheader beginning with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris on America's favorite pregame show. And then Randy Moss and company look to make it 2 in a row as they take on the New Orleans Saints and their dominating defense. And Brett Favre, the Packers, take on Warren Sapp and the Bucs. NFC Showdown plus other regional action. Coverage begins at 9 a.m. on your local Fox affiliate. Be sure to check the local listings. Difficult year for the Minnesota Vikings, of course, losing Corey Stringer. And wondered if something like that would gut or galvanize that team. And the Vikings a little slow out of the gate.
Corey Stringer was more than just a good football player. I think he's the guy that held that team together. And obviously they've had their problems.
2nd down and 1 for Long Beach Poly. Play action, Brooks, pressure coming. Now he's got all kinds of space. Does he have enough time? Trying to get to the corner, dragged down. And that may be short of the first down. Nate Kenyon able to get him at the sideline.
Kenyon with a nice play that time. When we talk about athletes on both sides of this football, it's the speed defense. And here's the big fellas up front. Nice protection up there. You see the hands moving. You see guys working in combination to make sure there's not a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And look at the size of these guys. Those are not demure, petite little guys. And this guy's not demure, and he's not petite. That's Derek Landry, and I've been watching him throughout the game. This guy is going to be a treat. He's so fundamentally sound, great hands, great feet. I mean, and that's what you've got to have. He's a guy that's been schooled. He's a guy that works hard. They talk about his ethic, and on top of everything else, the coaches at De La Salle are really, really impressed with his athletic ability. Some guys have either the ethic, some guys have the ability. This guy is the rare combination of both.
The coaches at De La Salle comparing him to former De La Salle graduate Aaron Taylor, of course, went on to play with the San Diego Chargers. They say he could be the best to come off campus since they've been there since 1979.
But look at the guy. I mean, he's sucking wind. You can tell that he's tired. He's going both ways, and that's something that is not happening to the Poly players. So it's not over. He's going to play hard. He's going to play at the same level he has been. But in the fourth quarter, is he going to be able to continue at that level?
The conditioning at De La Salle is really second to none. And Kevin Simon, the linebacker now at Tennessee, and Craig Martin was talking to him earlier. He said, you know, when we used to win titles, we'd win on a Friday or a Saturday, and guys would take the weekend off. And Monday morning, there'd be 60 guys back in the weight room 5 months before our very first practice. So they're serious about it. But, and you and I talked about this, 6, 7, 8 guys going both ways for De La Salle. Did they get tired down the stretch? It's short of a first down. It's 3rd and 1. They go to Herschel Dennis. Not much, but maybe enough. And it is to move the chains right at the 35-yard line. Under 2 minutes now to play. Coming up at the half, of course, we joined Todd Dono in the Fox Network Center, a special edition of Fox Sports Net Trivia, giving away an assortment of UCLA and USC tickets, and of course, the big one, November 17th, against one another at the Coliseum. Todd Donahoe back in the Fox Network Center at the half. First down, 35. Brooks looks on the slant, not there. Brooks now. And Brooks waits a long time to make a decision and gets 2 yards and goes out of bounds. And Kenyon ran him out. Kenyon has been facing Brooks on both sides of this field, both times making the tackle.
We talked earlier about Matt Gutierrez not pressing the situation and making a good decision by not making a mistake. Sometimes you just got to eat this thing. And I think when you look at what Brandon Brooks does here, he looks at the coverage, he recognizes everybody's in his zone, everybody gets picked up. There's nowhere to throw the ball without making a mistake. Tuck the ball away and just get out of bounds.
If you watch that replay, you saw Rory Carrington at the top. There were linebackers just beyond him that could have picked it off. Herschel Dennis, short gain. It's going to be 3rd down. Clock running. Probably not in a real big hurry right now.
Well, and you look at what De La Salle's doing right now. Defensively, they're doing what they've got to do. Everybody's dropping in a nice deep zone. They know that Paulie's got to move the ball quickly, and they've got to get it down the field and get it in the end zone, and they're trying to stop them with their defense they're running.
Jones and Watson, the wideouts, both on the right side. Instead, they toss back to Williams. Williams to the corner. First down and out of bounds. Andy Briner ran him out. Not before Big John Williams, 5'9", 220-pound senior. True fullback who blocks most of the time. In fact, I don't think I've ever called a carry by John Williams.
Well, and right now the running backs and the receivers have got to be cognizant of the clock. You're under a minute. You've got to get out of bounds if you can so that your quarterback has some time to get in the huddle, talk about what has to happen, not only this play, but the play after that.
Now Brandon Brooks is forced to burn a timeout, and that's costly because the clock not running at this point, something that they might have wanted to keep. Raul Laura a little frustrated with his offense, but they didn't have exactly what they wanted, didn't have the right package, and so they call the timeout. It's a very important drive, and I think Paulie's showing a lot of patience right now at this point.
I think it's a time to be patient. It's not a time to panic, and I think to the credit of Raul Laura, he's been in enough big games, not as a head coach, but as a defensive coordinator to understand, hey, you know, there's 2 quarters of football that are going to be left, and in the back of your mind, you've got to think, let's not make a mistake. When you say burn a timeout, maybe it is because you'd like to use it later on, but what if you're really in the wrong offense? What if you don't have the right personnel out there, and what if you turn the ball over? Then you're thinking, I should have taken the timeout.
Talking about perspective, and here's Raul Lara in just his 4th game as the head coach of the #2 team in the country. I walked out to practice the other day, and we were talking for a minute, and he grabbed my arm, he said, can you do me a favor during the game? I got some people watching at home. I'd like to send out a special message to my mom, Carmen, and my dad, Raul, who are watching nearby here in Long Beach. I said, what do you want to say? He said, tell my mom I said happy birthday and I love her. That's perspective, folks.
That's a good boy right there. What a good son.
Long Beach Poly now going double tight ends. Mercedes Lewis is split out wide, and Brooks loves to throw the fade to him. Instead, he goes to Jones, Derrick Jones, and he drops the ball in the end zone. It might have been tipped at the last second. They ran a little crossing route. Lewis went inside, Jones went out.
That's 2 passes that were going to go seemingly for touchdowns that have been dropped. You've got to be a little bit frustrated if you're Brandon Brooks that you've put the ball in the hands of the receivers, and both of those were going to go for 6, and that's a catch that you just got to make.
It looks so easy if you're watching at home, but Derrick Jones had guys flying at him. Watch right at the last second, the cornerback coming over and reaching. Maybe got a piece of it, at least got in his line of vision. So it goes an incompleted pass. 52 seconds, 2nd down. Herschel Dennis put a knee down at the 16-yard line. So now Paulie has to keep an eye on the clock. Willie Glasper, the tackle for De La Salle. 8 yards for Dennis. Watson and Lewis now exchange. Big Lewis is in the slot. See if they run the fade now to Mercedes. Nope, toss back to Dennis. Dennis left side, drives ahead, 1st down and out of bounds. Maurice Drew, is he afraid of anything, Michael?
Absolutely not. Look at that guy. I mean, I watched the movie Gladiator the other night. Look at him. I mean, he looks like the kind of guy that wants to fight. Bring on Tigers, bring on whatever. I'm ready. Want me to play on offense? You want me to play on defense? You want me to do it on special teams? Let's go. It's game day.
He's 5'7", $180. 1st down for Paulie. Ball at the 11. 28 seconds to go, 1st half, and they trail 21-9. They need a touchdown. Brooks throws to Mercedes. Lewis turns it up. Lewis to the goal line. Touchdown, Long Beach Poly. Flag laying in the end zone, and again, it's probably celebration or perhaps a personal foul. Jack Hunsinger, the referee, with the call, excessive celebration. You almost can't blame the kids in a game this size for getting excited, Mike, but that's the rule.
Well, you're going to get excited because your big-time player comes up with a big-time play. He gets out there, he gets single coverage, and he fights and gets to the end zone. You've got to be excited, but this is a long, long extra point. We talked about the missed extra point earlier and how that can come back and be bigger later. Now, you've got to kick this thing from the 25-yard line. It's 35-yard extra point.
Jeff Hastings, who made a 42-yard field goal before, pushes this one right. And no good. 21-15, De La Salle. Allen gives Pauly a huge lift, putting that one on the board right before the half. 20 seconds remaining. Mercedes Lewis, who's a basketball player, made a pretty good move to get in that end zone. As you take a look at the PAT again, and Hastings, now, just like one of your 3-woods, Michael, just blocked it, left it out to the right. Now watch Mercedes. It's a basketball move, Mike. Damon Jenkins makes the play here. He thinks he's going outside. Mercedes, a little roll on the block.
Yeah, and he almost goes behind the back there with the ball as well. But finds the end zone, and you know, it doesn't surprise me that a guy like Mercedes Lewis is going to come through, and doesn't surprise me. Bocciolito and Steve Lavin are giving each other stares when they're talking about this guy. What an athlete, what a football player, and you know that the two skills translate pretty well. If you got a football player that plays basketball, you know he's going to be pretty tough, and if you've got a basketball player that plays football, you know he's got to be athletic.
And what a drive, 14 plays, 80 yards, just under 4 minutes. And very important, obviously, emotionally, for Long Beach Poly to put that one on the board. They're back within 6.
Not the end of the world that they miss those extra points, though. I think that psychologically there's a great boost for Long Beach Poly to be able to do it with under a minute at the end of the half. People talk a lot about momentum going into halftime. I'm not that worried about that. It's how you come out.
And Hastings lifts this one inside the 20-yard line. It's Jenkins. And Jenkins loses the football. Pauly's got it. Tyrone Jenkins came up for Long Beach Poly.
You see a nice wedge up front, everything good. But you got to put that football away, and there's a lot of bodies coming up. That ball's just out there. It's asking to be taken away. And Tyrone Jenkins, because of his hustle, he's around the football. There it is. You hustle, you become a hero.
Damon Jenkins fumbled it. Tyrone Jenkins recovered it. And 12 seconds left for Pauly. Now this is huge now. You can get Hastings into field goal range with about a 15-yard pickup, but only 12 seconds. One timeout for Long Beach Poly. And De La Salle calls this timeout. And that is De La Salle's final timeout. Well, don't forget, coming up at the half, send you in to see Todd Donahoe in the Fox Network Center. Special edition of Fox Sports Net Trivia, giving away an assortment of SC and UCLA tickets, including the big showdown, Bruins and the Trojans, set for November 17th at the Coliseum. Get ready to call in. It's Southern California High School Trivia, so give the commission a call. Check in with him. If you're right, you get the ducats. Todd Donahoe at halftime in the Fox Network Center.
Are we eligible to call?
I got a cell phone with me. We should dial in. Call Todd. Happy to hear from us. Probably with just the one timeout left. Mike, I know I've been harping on it, but it just worked for the touchdown. I go back to Lewis, or perhaps at this point I go to Jonathan Johnson, the other tight end. Let him run down the middle of the field. As soon as his knee hits the turf, I call timeout and have Hastings come in and try to get those extra points back on a field goal.
You know, it's interesting that Poly does have the one timeout because it plants that seed of doubt. You're assuming that Poly's going to throw the football, but they could run it if they wanted to because they do have it. So you can't really gamble on defense if you're De La Salle. I expect them to drop off in a zone and try to keep everything in front of them.
Darnell Big has come in on offense, normally a defensive back, but what a good one. That's Big in motion. Brooks Pressure coming, and he's going down at midfield. And there's a penalty flag on the far side of the field. And I think this is because one of the Long Beach Pauley players acted as if he was leaving the field, stopped right next to the sideline, stayed in bounds.
Bonnie doing a little political gerrymandering there.
Jack Hunsinger, the referee.
Trying to lobby his congressman.
And Pauley calls their final timeout with 11 seconds to go in the first half. It's hard to believe, Mike, we've been talking about this game better part of 2 years when really the talks got serious, and then about 4 or 5 months ago when I heard that it was inked, that it was a done deal, and I've been looking forward to this, like the players trying to concentrate on other things, other games. And here it is. I keep looking down and seeing De La Salle in Southern California against Pauley. The first time this has ever happened in the history of high school football. Number 1 and number 2 in the same field. And I don't think this year you can call it a mythical national championship. If these two teams are still at the top at the end, we've settled it. This is the national championship.
I mean, I think it's a treat for football fans, not just high school fans, but football fans to be able to see De La Salle, what they're all about, come down, let them test the best teams in Southern California. They've taken on Mater Dei. They beat them 4 in a row. You got to like their attitude. Come on, let's play. Come up to our place, we'll come down to your place, whatever. We feel we're the best.
So legal formation on Long Beach Poly. And now they're going to put 8 seconds on the clock. So there'll be 8 seconds remaining in the first half. Now, it's not a matter of our opinion whether it's a national championship. We talk to the players like Herschel Dennis.
They're ranked number 1, we're ranked number 2, and this is a good opportunity to show people who's really number 1, since, you know, we're having this chance to play each other. There was a lot of polls with picking De La Salle, you know, making De La Salle number 1, Poly number 2, but we really had no chance to play them to really decide that, make that decision. But
you can bet the players, they want to settle it right here on the field right now. 8 seconds to go in the half. Mercedes Lewis, top of your screen. Brooks, this time he keeps Herschel Dennis in, and he is going for Lewis. Lewis, the jump ball, and it's overthrown. And there are 2 seconds left on the clock. I would too.
Well, you're a brave guy. You're always going to take those shots.
Actually, it was Derek Jones on that far side. Jones and Lewis running that same route. It went to Jones. Derek Jones has had a tough first half. Got a couple balls on his fingertips, one of them in the end zone. Jones probably the fastest of the Poly receivers.
And it's interesting if you take a shot here. People kind of go, oh, you know, they let it out. But if this thing gets intercepted, a lot of times those things get run back. So you've got to talk to your guys. Look, I'm going to throw this thing down the field. And if it gets picked, you've got to run down there like it's a punt. Trips formation on the left.
And Lewis at the bottom of your screen. Last play of the first half. Brooks just throwing it up, throwing it deep, and overthrowing everybody. Incomplete, and that's your first half. Well, we're halfway home. Trying to put this together for a long time, and here it is. Biggest play of the first half, probably the first drive for De La Salle. Maurice Drew taking a screen, breaking 2 tackles, and then flipping himself into the end zone 25 yards out. Touchdown, De La Salle on their very first possession. Take a 7-0 lead, and they have led ever since. Poly got a field goal to cut it to 7-3, but De La Salle continues to add touchdowns, and the Spartans lead 21-15. Let's go down to Frank Martin, who's standing by with Bob Ladouceur, the De La Salle head coach.
Thanks a lot, guys. Coach Ladouceur, 4 possessions, 3 touchdowns on offense. You got to be happy with your offensive output.
I am. I thought the kids came out and they executed well. Matt threw the ball well. We got our run game going a little bit in the second half. It was nice. Or second quarter.
What do you tell your guys at halftime? Because they got a little close there at the end of the first half.
Well, our guys are wearing down a little bit. Hope they pick up a little bit at halftime and come out and finish the game. But these guys are leaning on them. They're getting a little tired.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, guys, thank you very much. It's halftime here at the Vet in Long Beach. De La Salle 21, Pauley 15.
Due to time constraints, we now move to action later in the game.
High school football game of the week on Fox Sports Net, but it's more than that. Number 1, De La Salle. Number 2, Long Beach Poly. Those are national rankings. And this one sold out 72 hours before kickoff. 15,000. The last 2,000 of which have to stand, and they're happy to do it.
Luckily, a sellout 72 hours before kickoff, so the blackout was lifted here locally.
We're always on. We're always on. It's all about the kids. Now, if you're joining us late, De La Salle has won 116 straight football games. They haven't lost since 1991. They lead by 6, and they're faced with a 4th down and 3. De La Salle 1 for 1 on 4th downs. Misdirection, Bradley, Elijah Bradley. That's a 1st down. 5 yards for Bradley and 4 new downs.
We talked about how you can use the counter, and you've got the tray blocking on the backside. That's something that De La Salle used against Modern Day time after time after time again. It's the old Washington Redskins counter tray where the running back goes to the left, and then the linemen from the left pull over, and they just blow people up. 1st down.
Paulie needs to make a play defensively. Inside again, it's Drew. Can Drew get to the zone again? Yes! Touchdown, De La Salle.
I talked about him before and what I thought about him, and I called him a gladiator, and you know, he's more than just that. That's Maximus right there. That guy is having the night of nights in the biggest game in high school football as long as anybody can remember. 4 touchdowns, doing it on defense, doing it on special teams. It is Maurice Drew's night.
And if you're sitting home and you're wondering where that guy's going to go to school next year, he's going to De La Salle. He's only a junior. 4 touchdowns for Maurice Drew. De La Salle going to go for a 2-pointer. Bradley and Kenyon in the backfield. They fake to Kenyon. Rolling and throwing to Bradley. 2-point conversion. 29-15, and now it's a 2-touchdown game. How fired up is Gutierrez?
How much more fired up can you get? He's sensing it right now. When you're a football player and it's under 7 minutes and you're able to do this, I'm just amazed at what you're seeing there. You're seeing a guy with the great feet, with the great balance, and he keeps it down, and then they come back with a 2-point conversion. When you can do this, when you can come up with a 2-point conversion, your confidence just has to soar.
Mike, after that 4th down conversion by De La Salle, it seemed like Long Beach Poly just took one right in the solar plexus.
And we talked about, you know, how this is going to be a match between 2 heavyweights. It has been, but, you know, there have been some body blows there. Apollo Creed is covering up on that left side right now. 11
plays, 70 yards. Matt Gutierrez, a very nice young man. I had a short chat with him at practice yesterday. We watched him play basketball. Remember, as a sophomore, he was a wide-eyed kid. First time we saw him against Mater Dei, and he tore the Monarchs up. They went 42-0 up at Stockton, and all of a sudden everybody started to ask it, is it Gutierrez or Gutierrez? Well, we know how to say it now. It's Matt Gutierrez, and he's real.
All I know is he needs a trim. He's getting a little long there. And, maybe he'll get a victory cut on the way home.
I think he got it cut at halftime.
Yeah, just a great guy to talk to. Very impressive. And it was interesting, we got to talk to the basketball coach at De La Salle,
Frank Alaco.
And, you know, you think about having a wealth of educators. There's a guy who played quarterback at Notre Dame, and he's the basketball coach, and he's able to talk with Matt, and I'm sure their conversation from time to time goes over to the gridiron, away from the hardwood.
Now, Long Beach Poly has never been in this position, not in a long, long time. They need 2 touchdowns. Comes to one of the up guys. And they'll get good field position. Tyrone Jenkins, who recovered a fumble earlier. Now, if you want more of the same great attitude you get from Fox Sports, then log on to the new foxsports.com. Get all the information you need on your favorite team. Where else can you get John Madden and Anna Kournikova in the very same place? It's foxsports.com. Log on and check it out. I don't know a lot, Mike, but I know it's very wrong to have Madden and Kournikova in the same sentence, let alone the same place.
It's just not the exciting visual that I want.
Poly's got to get it going on. Carrington cuts back inside the 45 to the 43-yard line.
There has to be that sense of urgency right now. You've got to know that you've got to get to the end zone, and you can't take a long time to do it. So you're going to have to put the ball up, and you can see right now it's a little sugar huddle.
Poly in a bit of a hurry up now. Herschel Dennis weaving his way. Herschel Dennis, and Herschel Dennis needs one block. Herschel Dennis cuts back once, cuts back again. Herschel Dennis out of bounds at the 10-yard line. 34 yards for number 34.
Talked about it early on. It's, again, a counter play. Everybody goes to the left, and Herschel Dennis gets the ball, and he cuts it back, and he keeps cutting it back. And we talked about it before. He was a little bit too impatient. This time, he uses his blockers correctly and gets maximum yardage out of that run.
Poly trying to strike back quickly. Ball at the 10. Brandon Brooks to Herschel Dennis. He has stood up and driven back after 1 yard. Ottoboni just filled that hole and stuck Herschel Dennis.
Paulie that time trying to run the ISO play. When I say ISO, I mean the isolation play. You're trying to isolate your fullback on their linebacker. Well, their linebacker comes up and makes the play.
Dennis gets his bell rung just a little bit. Now by 2 touchdowns. Second down and goal. Quick throw, double covered out the flat. Derek Jones, he got wrapped up quickly. Willie Glasper was out there.
Just
John Alexander.
Quick one-step drop. You know what your read is going to be, but you know, throw that thing away when somebody's double covered. It's such a basic tenet in football.
Mercedes Lewis is back in the game. He is wide to the top of your screen. That's Rory Carrington in motion. Brooks looks to that side, and he wants Lewis. 6'7", Lewis knocked away. That is a super play by Jenkins. Incomplete. Lewis is asking for help. He's not going to get it. Now Jenkins, a great recovery here, Mike.
And I thought that ball might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. Nope, no.
Watch Jenkins recover to get a piece of that ball right as it comes down. And Brooks threw it into the corner to let Lewis go and get it.
See, I don't have any problem throwing the fade to the corner of the end zone with Mercedes Lewis over there because, you know, if anybody's going to go up and get that thing, it's number 19, 6'7", can jump as high as anybody on this field.
Michael, people got to be sitting at home, especially folks who have seen Herschel Dennis. They've seen Long Beach Poly. Ball at the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. And you start throwing the football, they're going to ask, why are we not running it? Now tomorrow on Fox Sports Net, don't miss NFL This Morning as they give you a preview and a breakdown of all the games in the NFL. 90 minutes of off-the-wall commentary and football news to get you ready for all of the day's action. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. That's because it starts at 7:30 in the morning. What football fan gets up that early, Mike?
A manly kind of football fan.
NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net. Huge play now. 4th down and goal from the 9-yard line. And De La Salle sideline with that same confidence. You know, they just never seem to look too rattled. Every week somebody's trying to knock that S off their chest. They're ready every week. They never seem to play a down game. This is the 5th time I've seen them. 4th down. Poly is 50%. They got to put the ball in the end zone. Brooks. Pressure, throws. Not going to get in. Jones is dropped at the 3. Damon Jenkins again.
When you've got 4th down and you've got to score, you've got to buy some time and you've got to make sure that ball's going to get to the end zone. You've got to give your guy a chance. But you've got to give credit to De La Salle. They're in the right defense. They're trained to do the right thing. And they come up with a big play when they have to. And maybe that's why they've won 116 in a row, perhaps moving on to 117.
And Gutierrez in the offense now. They have one job, and that's to move this ball away from this end zone and take their time doing it. Bradley out across the 10. Ernesto Villasenor. A tackle after 8 yards. And Bradley with a cramp.
And that's not surprising when you see the way that the Spartans of De La Salle have played, how many of their players have gone both ways. Not surprising to see them start to cramp up late in the game.
Long, hard night for both teams, and we're not done yet. Bob Laudisera stands 5 minutes away from victory number 117.
Your pet really enjoys being close, but their breath is really gross. But now there's Plaque Blast, the new patented treatment you simply spray on to control the bacteria, the plaque, and the bad breath. Unlike having to take your pet to the vet for a scaling, which can be painful and is tough on your pet, with Plaque Blast, you simply spray for teeth that are whiter, gums that are healthier, and breath that is fresh instantly. Call now and you can get Plaque Blast for dogs or cats for just $10. Order now and find out about free shipping. As a bonus, we'll double the value to 2 bottles of Plaque Blast, and you'll also receive our Crazy Critter as a bonus. Just pay separate processing, the stuffing-free plush toy that dogs everywhere go crazy for. That means you get 2 bottles of Plaque Blast and our Crazy Critter, a $50 value, all for just $10.
Call 1-800-322-1202 to get Plaque Blast, a bonus Plaque Blast, and Crazy Critter with today's orders. So call 1-800-322-1202.
The UEFA Champions League, first on Tuesday. With a 2-1 victory by Leverkusen over Valencia, sights changed to Spain for the rematch. Then on Wednesday, Real Madrid stayed unbeaten in the group stage with a convincing win against Lyon. Ronaldo and Real head to France for a second go-around. The UEFA Champions League, Valencia versus Leverkusen on Tuesday, Lyon versus Real Madrid on Wednesday.
The Champions Series brings the titans of tennis to Fox Sports Net. See the legends lace them up in 12 one-night tournaments featuring world number ones, Agassi, Sampras, McEnroe, Connors, Courier, and more. This is a phenomenal collection of talent and personality. Rivalries renewed.
Champions Series Tennis. Champions Series Tennis.
Champions Series Tennis on Fox Sports Net.
On Fox Sports Net.
But we knew coming in it was going to take a very special night and a little extra help for Long Beach Poly to dethrone De La Salle. So far, they haven't got it. Big crowd on hand and some familiar and big-name faces down with Frank Martin on the sideline.
2 special guys with me, Jim and Mike, and to my right, Marcus Anderson, and of course, Deshaun Foster. And Marcus, not what you wanted when you came back here, huh?
I thought my boys was going to pull it out. It's late in the fourth. Anything can happen, though.
Definitely think that's what we're going to keep. And Deshaun, now we got to talk about UCLA. Season's going very good for you guys.
Yeah, we're having a great season right now. Our defense is doing a great job for us, and we're just out there having fun.
All right, we'll back up to you guys in the booth. Thank you very much.
Marcus Anderson, of course, a graduate of Long Beach Poly. Deshaun Foster went to Tustin High School. Remember Deshaun Foster's championship game. He ran for 5 touchdowns, and he got beat by Carson Palmer, who threw for 6 touchdowns. He's having at UCLA. Penalty flag. I was on campus with Deshaun at UCLA a couple of weeks back, Mike, and we took him right up Alumni Walk. We were doing an interview, put a couple of microphones on. We thought we'd be inconspicuous. Apparently he's a big man on campus there in Westwood. Yeah. Couldn't get 2 questions in a row. Penalty against De La Salle. Jack Hunsinger.
Talk about Deshaun Foster, the popular figure he has become on the UCLA campus. It was like Freddie Mitchell last year when he would walk across campus. Everybody knew him. And rightfully so. Exciting football player and an exciting football team this season.
Second down and 7. On the ground again. Now Paulie's got to get a little fire defensively here. As they get Bradley out near the 10-yard line, give him 5 yards. It's going to be 3rd down, about 4.
Yeah, but you got to look at what De La Salle's doing right now. They are showing a look that they have not shown before on film. They're going to a wishbone, and that was something they were practicing yesterday late in the play. And when I say the wishbone, you remember back in the old days, Pepper Rogers, UCLA, you think back to Barry Switzer, Oklahoma, 3 backs in the backfield, the fullback, the 2 halfbacks, and it's a different look, it's a different read, and it throws off everything you've done defensively.
Dude, Pepper Rogers, you're going to pull a muscle reaching that far back. You all right? Goodness. And another penalty flag. Back judge, that should back up De La Salle. Now, during the course of this game, we've talked a little bit about De La Salle and head coach Bob Laudiseur. Walked on campus in 1979 looking for a teaching job. Turned that team around. They went 6-3 the first year. 4 years later, they were undefeated. And then the wins started to come at that point. He was only 25 when he took over. Recently inducted into the National High School Hall of Fame, and the Oakland Tribune named him to its list of the top 50 most influential sports figures in the Bay Area. Ahead of Steve Young, Stabler, and other big names. Paulie looks like they're going to get the ball back right here as they wrap up the Spartans inside the 5-yard line. That'll bring up a 4th down.
Sometimes you overdo it. Sometimes you overcoach a little bit and you make a change when something else has been working good. And obviously the offense of De La Salle has been just working to perfection to this point, and now you get the change up. You're doing something that you don't do all the time, and Long Beach Poly able to defeat what you're trying to do with their athleticism.
James Bloomberg, the punter for De La Salle, stands just inside the back line, a full step. Kevin Tapp waits at the 40-yard line for the Jackrabbits. Here comes some pressure, and they tried to go after it. They run into the punter, no flag, and Tapp takes it at the 40. Tapp trying to get to the far side, and he's cut off. He's going to lose a couple yards on that return. 35 yards on the punt.
Don't run backwards when you're the return man.
Now tomorrow, the NFL on Fox has a doubleheader beginning with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris on America's favorite pregame show. And then Randy Moss and company look to make it 2 in a row as they take on the Saints in New Orleans and their dominating defense. And then it's Brett Favre and the Packers down south taking on Warren Sapp and the Bucs in Tampa. NFC Showdown plus other regional action. Coverage begins at 9 o'clock on your local Fox affiliate. Now, Pauly's got to hurry now. They got to score, and they got to get the ball back. 4 guys in the pattern, and they go on the ground, and still De La Salle is not fooled. And again, it's Landry. Well, Derek Landry on his way to Notre Dame, and they're going to remember him in the East Bay for an awful long time.
You know what I was talking about earlier. Light green pants and everybody else dark green on him because the guy, look at him, he's just drenched in sweat.
Played both sides of the ball, working against some big guys. Brooks throwing one deep down the middle, going for Jones. Jones off his fingertips, and again it hits the floor.
How many times has the ball been in the hands of a Poly receiver in the end zone? These guys are going to look back at this, and they're going to rue this day for the rest of their life, the opportunity that they had to make a big play. And really, that's been the difference tonight. De La Salle's been able to convert on the big plays. And you know you've got to be frustrated as a quarterback. You've done your job. You've put the ball where it's got to be. You put your offense in a position to be successful.
I do it again. They still have single coverage out there. They look at Jones again. Sacked. 4th of the night. Landry was in, but he had help.
Eric Faustman and Derek Landry. You see two guys coming over there on the left side defensively, and I talked about it before, when the pocket breaks down and you've got more than one guy back there, there are no angles to take off. And understand, Brandon Brooks is a guy that can get out of there when he's in trouble.
Hey, Derek Landry's so tired he can't even lift the water bottle by himself anymore.
Oh, he's looking over to Burgess Meredith. Oh, couldn't be big.
He's got a whole pit crew over there. 7 guys working on the big fella.
Oh, I think they're just going to give him right side tires and they're going to send it back out there.
We've been talking about the last time that De La Salle lost a football game. It was December 4th of 1991. Let's put it in perspective. The Persian Gulf War was just beginning. The Dow Jones, wow, remember that?
Yeah.
Over 3,000. No more USSR. South Africa, apartheid laws. And Matt Gutierrez was in 2nd grade.
He was in the 2nd grade, but believe me, he was aware of that. You know, talking to him this week, these players, they talk about when they were in 2nd, 3rd grade, they weren't into pro football. They were into De La Salle.
Last chance for Long Beach Poly. It's 4th down and 16. Brooks throws in the flat to Carrington. He's got to go 12 more yards with this football. And that is it for Long Beach Poly. He comes up 5 yards short. Well, Mike, coming in, De La Salle had a very simple strategy defensively. Stop Herschel Dennis, at least contain him. You're not going to stop him.
Right.
Force Brandon Brooks and the offense to throw the ball, and that's where they got him.
Well, they did force Poly to throw the football, but, you know, you've got a quarterback that has put the ball where it's got to be all night long, and people have not gone out and caught the ball. And, you know, the Poly players are going to be sore for a long time thinking about the opportunity that has slipped through their hands because it's that close. You know, it's a tired cliche of football, you know, a game of inches, but, you know, when it flips off your fingertips by a millimeter, you're thinking about that later on. Boy, if I'd have just made that catch.
De La Salle, of course, going to keep it on the ground. Bradley, he'll lose a yard. He gets the clock running. 2:18, 2:17.
That's another part of coaching. You know that the De La Salle staff has said to their guys, look, when you run the football, I don't want to see you going to the sidelines. I want to see you keeping it in bounds. I want you guys to be aware of the clock. Be a smart football player. And if you don't have smart football players, you don't win a lot of games. Obviously, De La Salle has won a lot of football games.
Long Beach Poly out of timeouts.
It's over.
2nd down and 11. Maurice Drew to the 39. All De La Salle has to do is get one more 1st down. And we're done.
Maurice Drew, what a story, this guy. Not the most heralded player coming into this football game, but that's what's great when you get an opportunity like this, when you've got the national spotlight on you, when everybody wants to know what the team is all about. Don't have any preconceived notions when you come into a football game on who can do it and who can't do it. There's no bigger star than Maurice Drew.
Maurice Drew. 1st down, Maurice Drew for more. Maurice Drew right over the big USA in the middle of Veterans Stadium. And in the background, the echoes of the folks from the East Bay. De La Salle. De La Salle.
Look at Drew. You've got the counter again. He gets the ball, cuts it back. A couple of missed tackles. But you know why there's missed tackles? Because he's got his pad level down where it needs to be. It takes 6 people to make contact with Maurice Drew to bring him down at the end of this football game.
Maurice Drew, 79 yards on the ground, 79 yards through the air.
It's a balanced attack, isn't it?
158 yards, and he got 4 touchdowns. He got them all. And on a 2-point conversion, and that's where they get their 29. They haven't lost since 1991, and they're not going to lose tonight. Bob Laudiseur, the same unassuming guy all the time, talks about teaching. He teaches theology classes at school, one of the most well-liked teachers on campus, and he's pretty popular in the football office as well. But I'll tell you what, after this, all he'll talk about is what a great job Long Beach Poly did. The streak survives, 117 for the Spartans.
Now the ultimate tailgater's cooking accessory. The Team Tailgater Portable Gas Grill offers 22,000 BTU on 300 square inches of cooking surface. Triple-fired porcelain enamel emblazoned with the logo of your favorite NCAA college football team. Combining portability, professional-grade cooking capabilities with high-end stainless steel construction makes the Team Tailgater a must for the serious football fan. Get this football season cooking with the Team Tailgater at teamtailgater.com.
No way. Hi. Hi. Shine, come on and let it shine.
Following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are LA.
They've been waiting all year for this moment. They'll never forget this night.
Talk about game-breaking plays. There it was. Into the wind and rain.
A great night for high school football. All week they've been getting revved up for this